This is Savannah Gemolo, and you've been watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Menton.
I'd like to welcome everyone to Outside the Game show. We thank you so much for coming into this program, talking about the student athlete, their character on and off the field, academics, who they are, really what makes them. This is an important piece to the student athlete, and we'll get into it a little bit more with the student athlete we have right now. This is going to be Tremel Jones. He's class of 2022. He's a DB, running back, boy, athlete really is, because you can put him anywhere on the field, coaches. And he has got a GPA doing in the classroom too as well, 3.6 GPA out of Clearwater Academy in Clearwater, Florida. We have with us Tremel Jones. Tremel, thank you so much for joining us.
What's good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you bet, man. It's a pleasure to have you. Of course, we always start out with family and how we define it. So we know they play such a huge part and role in your life. But tell me what family means to you and why.
Family to me is the most important thing in my life. It doesn't have to be blood. It could be close friends, trainers, coaches, siblings, even my parents. But the people that's really close to me.
Yeah, that's big. And really, when you look at the people that are close to you, it's going to be your parents. And your parents play such a huge role. They each play a role in your life, both mom and dad. Let's start out with mom first. What does mom do for you? Good old Marla. What does she do for you?
To me, my mom is my biggest supporter, biggest cheerleader. She's the one that makes me feel at home. She's the one who does everything, especially like my hair. She does everything for me. She makes sure I'm doing well in my classes. Make sure I get the help I need. And,
Yeah, and then there's dad. Dad has a role in your life as well. And again, how does he help you be the best student athlete possible?
My dad, he's been one of my coaches throughout my life. He's like when I'm not with my trainers, he's my trainer. Makes me do the extra work. He's always on top of me to keep my grades on point. Even now that I'm in Florida, he's still on the phone making sure everything's right and in order. Make sure I'm up to date on my training. And yeah.
Now, interesting you say Florida, because I think the thing is, Florida, you think about just the beautiful sunshine that you're at, and again the pipeline of talent out of Florida. Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking of some high school like Dunbar High School. I mean, you got Clearwater where you're at. There's so many. There's Gainesville, Florida, Seminole State. Tell you what is it about Florida? Why you were attracted to be there in Florida and attend the high school there?
Well, like you said, one of the big things that attracted me to come down to Florida was the athletes and the pipeline type of athletes, and a lot of exposure here, and especially because a lot of talented athletes come out of Florida with a lot of connections. So I thought coming to Florida would be the best option for me.
Oh, let's be clear too, Tremel, is that the competition level is just a different level. It's not comparable. Yes, it's interesting that you think of pipelines that of Texas and say California, and then you look at down there in the South. And you tell you, Florida is its own, and it's really nothing can be compared to Florida. You look at 7-on-7 teams, South Florida Express. I know one of them. They win a lot of tournaments. So it's pretty big there in Florida. Well, getting back to the mentorship aspect of how they help you, Tremel. Who are your mentors and why?
My mentors, I have a couple of different mentors, like my parents, of course, and my two trainers back at home, Eddie and Karen, and my older cousin. Those are my mentors.
Why are they important though? Because again, that's the extension of family. Sometimes family, again, you mentioned your mom and dad can be mentors. Yeah. There's that extension too, your trainers, coaches. Why are they important to you?
They're important to me because unlike my parents are always on top of me, but those are the other people that make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. They're the ones getting me prepared to be prepared to where I need to go. It's like my trainers, they got me right. They got me right with my training to come down to Florida. They always check in now and then to make sure I'm on point with everything, my academics and my training. So yeah, those are my mentors.
Well, speaking of Florida, Clearwater Academy seems to be, you got a teammate that we interviewed out here and Outside the Games, Mr. Javon Blake.
Yeah,
Obviously, that 1-2 punch that Tremel States, Jones, and Javon Blake can give you at that Clearwater Academy football program. But looking at Florida and that high school, take me through a little bit. I know Javon Blake was able to tell us a little bit about it from his perspective, what Clearwater
yeah.
Academy was like. But tell me through your perspective and lens, what you appreciate about Clearwater Academy, Florida High School.
For me, Clearwater it's a small school. Probably has like 250 kids. Small school, good environment. We have smaller classroom sizes, and really you get to know everyone really fairly quickly. What I appreciate from the school is that with the small classroom sizes, I'm able to get more help from my teachers if needed, and the learning is it's at my own pace, so I can get as much work done as fast as I can. I like to move fast, and it has just lots of resources for help. And then if we're talking about more of the football standpoint, my coach Jesse, he's a really good source for recruiting. He puts my stuff out there. He really gives me a lot of exposure and tells me like different camps and stuff to go to.
I tell you, for outside the games, we love the word resources. Resources are so important to a student athlete because, again, it's kind of like an a la carte. You get to choose what you can get, and hey, what do I need here? There's a resource for me here. What do I need here? I can grab that resource. You mentioned resources for Clearwater Academy. Academically speaking, how were the resources there to make sure that you're the best student athlete possible?
Resources there, like I have lots of teachers that specialize in a lot of different areas. So like we have a teacher that specializes a lot in English, science, um, human anatomy. So he's a great resource because I want to go into physio, like kinesiology in university. So if I have any questions, I just go to him. And I have different teachers that specialize in math. So if I have a question in math, if I need to, my teacher can't handle it, I go to him or go to her. And yeah,
Oh, that's big. Oh, that's big. Uh, with the high school now, you've been there now 2 years. You're about to be going into your junior year.
yeah,
So this is an important time. Why is it important, Tremel, to make sure because you got a 3.6 GPA? I'm not
yeah.
going to get it twisted. It's kind of hard to maintain with everything that you got going on with football and your home life and then having to take care of homework and studying and test taking. How do you handle that? Being able to jumble so many things all at once to be a successful student.
Um, just being able to lock in and focus on the main goal and my main goal, and knowing that if I don't have the grades, I'm not gonna succeed in life or go further with football. So that's the main thing for me.
Yeah, so that's your motivation is to make sure you have something to fall back on, your education,
Yeah,
but then also to be able to get open doors of opportunity for colleges, so that way you can get a shot at least to play on the next level and play the game you love. Obviously, student
sure.
athlete challenges are big because again, it kind of goes right into that segment of that because with student athlete challenges, there's always some type of challenge or challenges that a student athlete faces. Tell me what your student athlete challenges are, Tremel, that you face.
Some challenges I really face is pretty much just time, just finding time to make sure I get everything done, and also having the energy to do everything I gotta do the practice or training, or even just the sun, because the sun drains a lot of energy. So just trying to that's mainly the main problem, just trying to find time and energy.
Yeah, it is a big challenge. With you, you talked a little bit about the students and resources of that. We highlight a little bit of the student and teacher relationship because I think that's huge. Um, how do you view your teachers in a way of trying to be successful? Like, do you feel that they're a huge part of your success in what you do and that you rely on them heavily?
Um, Definitely, because my teacher relationship with my teacher is my coach. One of my football coaches, he's my like offensive coordinator, whole line coach. So he's always on me to make sure I have everything right if I'm off track. So I say our relationship's really good because, I can talk to him, and he can talk to me, and if he needs to get hard on me, he's able to get hard on me, and I'm able to take it. So I think it's really good, and he helps me get a lot of things done. He's definitely part of my success.
Well, and so we're going to go into the fact of how is it that you make a teacher successful? What are some things that you need to possess for you, Tremel, to help this teacher be successful in the classroom?
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
So, what are some things that you need to do in order to help the teacher be successful? You have to possess certain,
Oh,
things of yourself, your character, and how you act, and what you're doing in the classroom. So, how can you help them be successful in that?
I can help them be successful by just being on track with my work, not being a distraction to other people around, um, just turning in everything on time and asking for help when needed. And yeah,
What about the teacher though? Because the teacher has a role in your life, that they have
yeah,
to be able to try to provide the right information, to be helpful, to
yeah.
be motivating you in the classroom. So, what are some things they have to possess to help you be successful in the classroom?
There's some things that need to be provide is just being respectful and just being able to help me be knowledgeable about what I'm trying to learn. And yeah,
Let's not sugarcoat it, because a teacher has to be excited about their lesson, right? I mean, if they're
yeah,
not excited to be there, it's hard for the student to feel excited about the material. So it's delivery and presentation is everything to a teacher, and let's just say for a student athlete as well. You got to present yourself in the right way, and handle yourself a certain way to be, to show that the teacher knows that you want to learn. Same thing for the teachers to present the material in a way that is exciting for you to want to learn it. So that's important, right?
yes, sir.
Well, looking at this, you know, classroom, COVID has been kind of the elephant in the room, but not so much for Florida. Florida's been a little bit different on how they've been able to handle COVID. Take me through, for you, how you've been able to handle COVID in an academic environment, because there was a time, we'll talk about this date, March 16th of 2020, the country shut down.
Yep.
Governors were reevaluating phases and closing things down, and not, mask wearing, sanitizing, social distancing. There was all of that there. So what things were you experiencing in Clearwater, Florida, when COVID hit?
Well, if we're talking about in March during March 16th, 2020, I wasn't yet in Florida. I was back at home. So the things I was experiencing back home was just it was just difficult, like being online and learning school. It was just like it was really weird because not all the time your teachers were around to ask questions. So it was kind of now I have to try and figure things out on my own. And also at home, there's a lot of distractions like TV, video games. So you're trying to get your work done, and sometimes you just get distracted, and you're like, "Geez, I have an assignment next week. All right, in a couple of hours, I gotta do." But once I came to Florida in the summertime, and I had to deal with COVID. Um, everyone was wearing masks in school, so that wasn't really a problem. Clearwater, I felt was really good with the COVID situation because they were really cautious, and a lot of people wear their masks, sanitized, took proper precaution, and then in the classroom, everyone wore their mask. Everyone wiped down everything as soon as they were done, like the desks and the door handles and stuff. So I don't think there was really any problems, but back when I was at home, it was a little bit more difficult just because I was at home.
Interestingly said. So yeah, you're from Vancouver, British Columbia, so it's a little different
Yeah,
there than when you go to Florida, obviously.
yeah.
So that's true. COVID can be handled differently that way. Well, I tell you, we have here Tremel States Jones, athlete, running back, DB. Boy, coaches, you can put him anywhere on the field. GPA 3.6 out of Clearwater, Florida, Clearwater Academy High School. We'll be right back.
Take control of who you are. Stay the same, don't let them change you. Take control of who you are. When the world is getting stranger, and when it comes apart. When it comes apart, just start again. Take control of who you are. Take control of who you are. Show the people what you're made of.
Well, we're back here with Tremel States Jones. He is a player out of Clearwater High School in Clearwater, Florida. GPA 3.6, class of 2022, athlete. Hey, Tremel, we get into the aspect of your school. What's your, when you look at your classes, what is your favorite class that you're enjoying right now?
My favorite class I'm enjoying so far right now is probably U.S. history, U.S. history and U.S. government.
Why so? Why that class?
Well, I mean, coming from Canada, like I've learned little bits and pieces of U.S. history, and you know, it's interesting. But like coming to the States, I got to learn about the government and more history in depth, and like seeing how the government in the States is more different than in Canada. So that's pretty interesting.
That's big. What's your least favorite class there, Tremel?
What's my least favorite class? Really and truly, I don't really have one.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Hey, not everybody can say that. Not everybody can say that. So that's big. That's really big. Well, to keep yourself academically in tune, that 3.6 GPA, obviously you're wanting to improve your GPA and want to get better. That's always a goal that you have. I know that. But go into as far as what kind of things help you to keep organized, prepared, focused. What apps or things do you use to help you in your academics and keep strong there?
Well, the biggest thing I would say is music. I listen to a lot of music, especially when I do my schoolwork. Another big thing I like to do is if I really don't understand something, I just research it and go and try to learn a lot about it. And I just write things out as well.
Do you use the phone at all? Calendar? I mean, do you write things out? Sometimes student athletes feel that if they write it out, they kind of cross it off. That seems to be a way of accomplishing it. What are some things you do there?
Well, yeah, I use my phone. Like sometimes I put it in my calendar or I set a reminder. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do, what I use.
Yeah, because if you think about it, your day consists of academics, training, football, the gym, family life, friends. How is it that because I find this, we always talk about how you schedule all these other things, but if you're a serious student athlete and you're wanting to be successful, you got to sometimes have to schedule in friends and that social time. How do you do that?
Well, for me, being away from home, I talk to a lot of my friends from home. I love FaceTime, so I'll give them a FaceTime call, talk to them. If I'm on my lunch break, sometimes I'll just call a couple of my friends, or that's mainly what I use.
Now we talked about the move of why Clearwater, Florida, why that move, but my guy, Canada, Vancouver, British Columbia, the washroom. These are some things Canadians use. That's the language. Why the geographical location change from Vancouver, British Columbia? And I mean, they're here, and Florida's here on the map. So that's a big distance there. Why that?
I've got a lot of opportunities, like where I want to move. Like I had an opportunity to move to Virginia or even New York, but like I ultimately chose Florida due to like I have family there. I have my grandmother, I have cousins, and yeah, it's pretty close to some of my other family in Maryland because I drive down a lot. So that was one of the biggest reasons. And plus the weather. I can't beat the weather. The weather is amazing.
Man, all I can think of right now is palm trees, clear water, nice breeze, white sand. Am I right on that?
Yeah, 100% right.
So
100%.
There's nothing like shorts weather. I mean, obviously, if you can be in shorts and a t-shirt, there's nothing wrong with that, and some sandals.
Yep.
That's what's up. looking at the aspect of we talked about the support for Clearwater, their resources. How is it that I mean, is there a big community support for Clearwater High School, Clearwater Academy High School there, that you find that community really supports that high school and its programs?
Oh yeah, well, Clearwater is a small town, so there's a lot of people in the town have either had some kind of connection to Clearwater. So, and that's one of the biggest big schools in Clearwater. So a lot of people in the community support it, and plus a lot of people that come in, their families really support the school and the programs because they just want to see everyone succeed.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about this because it's like, with the support that you get and the community that's involved with Clearwater, does it almost feel like it's a small college town? I mean, it's a small
100,
town. Is that kind of the
yeah,
feel of it?
somewhat, yeah, yeah.
Well, what are some things to do in Clearwater? I haven't been to Clearwater. Is there some good food spots? Is there some good places to hang out at? Is there a nice beach somewhere? Take me through what Clearwater is like and where you go. I mean, obviously that came into some of your decision to want to go from Vancouver, British Columbia, where it can be cold, and
Yes,
then
sir.
get to Florida.
Some things to do in Clearwater is like obviously, you got your fields, you got your fields to go play. There's lots of little trails you can go explore on. There's parks, there's a lot of beaches, you know. Um, Tampa Bay is just like 20, 30 minutes away over the bridge, so
The
you can
Super
just
Bowl
take a drive
champions,
away.
Super Bowl
Yes, sir.
champions, right?
Yes, sir.
What
So I
what's
mean,
the food? What's the food spots like, man? Tell me what the
I
food
have food
spots are like.
food spots,
I
you
know you
know,
love food. I know you love food.
I do love food. I'm a big since I moved here, I'm a big Chick-fil-A guy. So I go to Chick-fil-A quite a bit. I love Chick-fil-A. But down by the beach, there's a lot of different places. There's a lot of good sea places and for people to explore and stuff.
What's the most interesting food that you've had there in Clearwater? Could you say? Minus Chick-fil-A, my guy. There's got to be the most
Hmm.
interesting dish you got served that you was like, wow.
I mean, I haven't really had one yet. The most interesting one I would say is probably just a steak. I had a pretty good steak. This one restaurant, I forget the name of it. It was by the beach. I just had a good steak.
So I kind of want to get the idea of the ambiance here is that you sit down, you eat a steak, and boy, you're there on the beach looking out to the water while you're eating your steak. Is that real?
It felt like a dream. I was like, hey, I got the nice sun. Got the beach. You got the smell of the beach water. The ocean. It felt good.
Wow, that's
Felt good.
great. That's really good. I love that because it's an experience that if you haven't been there, it gets us to think of like what it's like to be there. That's awesome. Well, we get
So,
into the aspect of your training. I mean, something about your football itself. You could have played any other sport, and you probably did play some other sports, but with football, why the game of football? Why was it a passion for you? What made you want to play that game? Something about it, Tremel.
I started playing football. I'm pretty sure when I was like six years old. You know, I love the physicality of it. Um, I love the opportunities that football gave you, especially to make a big play. And then later on, once I learned a little bit more about the game, I love the way it gives you an opportunity to earn scholarships and just make something big of yourself in playing it.
Yeah, and speaking of training, that you used to be part of Forward Sports Performance. That's at Team FSP in Bellevue in Washington State. Uh, Take me through what it was to experience a program like that of Tracy Ford, because you've seen the talent out of that program there. You're looking at Sam Heward now, what he's been able to do, at his high school at Kennedy Catholic, and break records. Brett Rippon's records,
Yes, sir.
things like that. I think, G. Scott Jr. going to Ohio State, Keely Ringo going to Georgia, Sam Adams the third going to Washington, UW. And, a lot of these players that have been a part of this program, they end up somewhere. But what was your experience with Ford Sports Performance, and why was it a big piece to who you are today?
Man, that was just a great experience for me. Like coming from Canada and moving down to really my first team in the States was really good. It taught me how to be a better leader, taught me to be accountable. It taught me to be more physical and aggressive as a player. And it was just they're just really good people. They just took me in like I was one of their own and just really taught me and welcomed me to the FSP family.
And there's different levels of FSP because they got the select, they have the different programs within FSP and where they have you compete. What was your
Yeah.
last level you achieved at FSP?
Well, I started when I first got there. I started on select, so the third team, and then my last year before I moved to Florida, I played in between blue chip and 5 star.
There you go. How was that experience playing with those guys? I mean,
It
you're
was
gonna
good.
around some good talent.
It was a good experience, especially in practice because we go hard in practice. It was good. It was really good going against those kind of guys, and it got me ready for what I'm gonna see in Florida.
Yeah, we're thankful to Tracy Ford. He let us into the program a little bit to see how it's orchestrated, how it works. The film room, my guy, they break down film. So they look at all
100%.
things. Coaches get together. I was in the coaches meeting when they were breaking down film, talking about players, measuring players. Do they see them on that certain team or do they see them down here? I mean, there was some interesting conversations between the coaches, but I think again, breaking down the film and then bringing you all in to break down the film. I thought that was very interesting because it held you guys accountable. It held you accountable
100%.
for your assignment and making sure you follow through on that. You remember an experience like that with film and how it helped you?
Oh yeah, like film for them is really big. So they always bring us in the classroom. They split us offense and defense, and sometimes we'll have just our individual teams like blue chip, 5 star, select, and then sometimes we'll just all come together and watch each other's film, and we'll break it down and we'll really go over the era. And if let's say the whole team doesn't know what they're doing, we'll really write out the coverages and our responsibility. Yeah, it's a really good experience. It's really helpful and really good.
Now I'm telling you, you're in Florida.
Yes, sir.
And the things I think of, I probably think of one team that's out there right now winning tournaments. That's South Florida Express. Now,
Yes, sir.
why the decision not to do 7-on-7? And again, because you found 7-on-7 to be valuable, but why not teams out there that, because I know there's a plethora of teams out there to choose from. So have you just kind of held off from them for certain reasons?
No, not really. I didn't really hold off them for any reason. Like, I don't know. It was just kind of different. So I just really just came down here to play tackle. I wasn't really thinking about 7-on-7. I actually started talking to one of my former coaches that played our coach at Clearwater. He kind of took a couple of our players to come play 7-on-7. So I played a tournament last weekend and at IMG Academy. So I'm slowly getting back into it, but yeah.
Okay, you said the 3 letters IMG. IMG Academy is pretty big as a 7-on-7 program, as well. Let's not forget them too, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
What was it? Well, how did you do in your tournament? And when you did that tournament?
We didn't do too bad. It was our first time all playing together, so we just had to build some chemistry, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, chemistry is always big. I mean, you look at it even for high school football to playing in a tournament, being a 7-on-7 program, because you're bringing on different abilities and talents of other student athletes together. So you have to find a way to make that gel. Well, I tell you, we have here Tremel States Jones. He's class of 2022, GPA 3.6, doing it in the classroom, athlete out of Clearwater, Florida, Clearwater Academy High School. We'll be right back.
We're all moving at our own speed. From essential workers to frontline responders to you. Whenever you're ready to get out there, Enterprise is ready too. With our complete clean pledge, you'll have the peace of mind that will get you safely on your way, wherever and whenever that may be. Enterprise. When you're ready, we're ready.
Well, we're back here with Tremel States Jones, class of 2022, athlete, plays in the secondary though. We're going to get into that. But Clearwater Academy High School out of Clearwater, Florida, GPA 3.6, Tremel. So training your body. Now, folks, if you haven't been on Twitter, you need to check it out. This guy's putting in, some workouts, doing some lifts. He's doing a lot of different things because he's understood he's got to train his body the right way to take the pounding. He's junior year, got senior year, he's going to the next level in college. Tremel, tell me what training has meant for you to kind of do some different reps of things as far as in the gym, and what has it been like to learn some of these different things that the coaches have instructed you to do to get better?
It's been pretty helpful, like especially I'm close to be going into college, so it's good to learn different techniques and different lifts that I know that's gonna help me with my athleticism and keep me healthy and stuff going into the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is when you look at the reps and lifts that you do, you're targeting parts of your body that are going to take some punishment. What's important to, if there's a student athlete right now watching, they're knowing that, hey, I'm an athlete, or I'm in the secondary as a DB, or, they put me on offense. I have to train certain parts of my body to be able to take and endure a season. What are some things you're working on your body and really looking at it individually on the body sections of your body that you can help to improve?
Well, for me as a DB, the big thing for me is just being flexible, because I got to be able to move my body, and especially I got to be fast. So making sure I'm flexible is a big part, so I can stay healthy and stay injury free. Another thing is probably my legs to build power, so I can run fast and just move better. And then another thing will probably be my upper body. My upper body is probably the biggest thing I've been working on this off season, because I gotta be able to fight receivers off, fight off blockers, especially if I play offense. Because on offense, I mainly play slot receiver and running back. So be able to take some of the hits and stuff. That's probably the biggest thing.
I think something I think about right now is the fact that student athletes, beware. You need to train your body somewhere around that sophomore, getting in the weight room, building that body somewhere in sophomore, junior year to senior year, and be ready. Because think about this, and is it true to say this, Tremel? On the next level in college, there are people just as good as you are. They've already trained their body. They're ready to go. You don't want to be behind.
100%. 100%.
I'm thinking of also, too, foot speed. How important is foot speed?
Extremely important. You got to be able to move fast and quickly and quick. It's 100% important.
Have you been able to test your 40 time?
I haven't recently, but I remember the last time I did, I ran a 4.4 or 5.54.
4.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that, and again, speed is everything, especially on the DB running back. If you're using any position, offensive or defensive side of the ball, that plays a huge part. When you said that you take care of your body, what other things are you doing? I mean, because I know sleep has got to be important. Nutritional values got to be important. My guy was eating steak on the darn beach. So, I mean, come on. What are some things you're doing to take care of your body in other ways?
Stretching is a big thing, sleeping, trying to eat healthy, taking my vitamins, taking cold showers. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the body can be sore. There's a thing called recovery time. So you got to have that, definitely. Well, going to your season at Clearwater Academy now, let's talk to me about Javon Blake, what it's been like to play with him and to be his teammate, because, we covered him here on our show. But what is it about Javon Blake that you guys really work well together as teammates, and what do you appreciate about him?
I love Javon. It's kind of weird because I've known about Javon a lot, especially coming back from home. But once I moved here, it was my first time actually meeting him, and we lived together. We lived together for almost a whole year, so it was a really good experience. We bonded, we trained a lot. He's a great motivator because he has that sprinter background. So it was really good just to play with him and live with him because he's a great person.
Yeah, when you can spend time together off the field and then be able to compete on the field, it's a different relationship there. It's a different camaraderie that you both have, and that's big. I heard he's a sprinter, so I'm thinking to myself, is there some way somehow Tremel is involved in some kind of track program, or He's doing. Does Clearwater have something like that?
No, we don't have a track program right now, but like back at home, I was a sprinter.
Wow. So the 100, 200?
Yeah,
right?
100, 200. Yep.
There you go. There you go. So let's go into the season. Now, season last year, obviously there was some disappointment from a standpoint of, hey, you got to the semifinals and you lost. But what was it that you learned about you as a player in this program at Clearwater Academy? What was it that you learned about yourself as a student athlete and really as a player with that team?
I learned about myself is like I'm able to handle adversity pretty well, and I'm able to be a pretty good leader, especially as one of the youngest on my team, and I have a pretty good heart, and I'm able to fight through a lot of things. That's what I learned.
Now, you say your coaches mean a lot to you because they're able to be with you, train you, work on your position. How important is that relationship you have with your coaches?
Very important, because if I don't have a good relationship with my coaches, especially like if I don't have a good relationship with my coaches, I'm not gonna be able to call them for anything or hit them up if I need help. So it's really important. Like me and my DB coach, we had a really good relationship. So I hung out with them. A lot of our players hung out with him. He would take us to the field for extra work, and I get to call him and text him for anything.
Now, as a defensive back in the secondary, you're active. I mean, we look at that as the third tier on the defensive side of the ball. You have your front defensive line, then you got your linebackers, then you got you, and in the position. What specific position do you play in the secondary?
On the second, my main position. I mean, I don't really have a main position. I play all around. Like last year, I played corner. I played a little bit of safety. I played nickel. I played strong safety. I moved around quite a bit, but if I had to give myself in a position I want to play, I'd probably say nickel safety.
There you go. Okay. And what is it about that position that you learned about that you love that position? Because all you said, hey, that one stands out to you besides all the other ones. Not to say you don't like playing other positions, but that's the one that kind of you felt comfortable at. Why that position, and what do you find helpful from the coaches to make you better?
The one thing that stands out to me in that position is probably like just the ability for me to move around more freely. Because if I'm playing nickel, that means I'm more. I could be in the box. I could be blitzing more. I could drop back as a safety. So the one thing I like to do, I like to move around, especially if, like, let's say they have a tight end. I could play close up to the line of scrimmage as like a linebacker. I could play deep like a safety. And yeah, I just like it because I make a lot of more physical plays.
Tremel likes to deceive the quarterback, I'm sure. So when it comes to being on that side of the ball, what are some things you look for from the quarterback and in the way he's looking down the field and how you're able to make a play on the ball?
I try to read like I don't try to read. I try to read like the receivers, and I try to read the running back. I read his eyes, but yeah, I really just read the other positions because that's going to tell me mainly where the ball is going.
Yeah, and I think there's something about making sure that you also read, because it's film, right? So take me through. You said, with FSP, you did a lot of film. With Clearwater Academy high school football team, do they have a lot of film sessions and where you're able to critique a team, look at that team, see what they're running? Because when you're on that side of the field, you're looking at what that offense is running. You go, oh, yeah, I've seen that before.
Yep. What we do at Clearwater, we read, we watch a lot of film. We watch a lot of positional film. We do our team film, then we do defensive film, then we do positional film. We really mark out what the offense does or what the offense or defense does. And we make notes. Some of us make notes, and we sometimes get tested on it.
You get tested just like school.
Yeah.
Who was the hardest team in your conference? Got to be a hard team.
Hardest team we played was probably Chaminade High School.
Chaminade, yeah. A lot of
Chaminade and Venice.
Yes. A lot of good. I've heard of that high school, and a lot of good talent out of there. What made them a difficult team to play?
Just because they're organized. They were a really organized team like us, and We had some mental errors, but they were just a really well faced opponent, and they were well prepared and organized.
What did they seem to do well against you?
Like I said, we had a lot of mental errors when we played, so they just are silent sound. They had less errors, and yeah, they just did their job. They just really did the job.
Well, I think what I'm getting to though is also, are they more of a passing team, more of a ground heavy team?
Oh,
Do they kind of mix it up a little bit, spread?
yeah, they mix it up.
They mix it up.
They really mix it
up. So the talent on that team was big. They had some talent, but what you're saying is, and I get it, you said it twice, is that, hey, we made mental errors. What were those mental errors and mistakes, and how can you improve on that as a team?
You know, like we had penalties, like let's say offside, or we lined up offside, or some guys forgot to play, stuff like that, you know.
Does your team at Clearwater Academy, that football team there, do they do a lot of making sure of that people remain eligible? I mean, my understanding is some of these coaches or teachers, that it's that small of a school, so you can't put one over on a coach. They know, because some of them are teachers, so they know what you're doing in the classroom and what you're going to be able to say, hey, if you don't do it in the classroom, you're not getting in the field. So how is that when having coaches as teachers? Does that make it easy?
Nah, it doesn't make it easy, because the coach, let's say you're not doing something right in the classroom and he doesn't like it, man can take it out on you on the field. Like, he can make you do sprints, or when we get to the gym, tell our trainer to punish us. So it definitely doesn't make it easy, but it helps us in the long run, because we get all our stuff done.
Now, you were thrown in other positions, anywhere on the offensive side of the ball. What positions were you thrown on there?
Well, on the offense, you know, I practice. I haven't really played in games, but like I practice at receiver a little bit. You know, I've gotten to learn some plays and stuff.
What have you loved about it on the offensive side of the ball? What makes you? What position do you love on that side?
I like running back. I like running back. I just like to run the ball.
Do I see a little bit of lightning and thunder with Javon Blake?
Yep.
So has that been talked about? I mean, let's be clear. Has the coach even tried to entertain a little bit of lightning and thunder when it comes to or you look at spark plug and lightning? I mean, you're both pretty quick as far as, running and sprinting and all that. Has that been kind of talked about?
A little bit, not too much. I was mainly just a DB this year, but he talked to us a little bit about playing offense. Yeah.
What do you appreciate about your offensive and defensive line? Because we can't forget the trenches here at Outside the Games. We've seen the trenches play a part in the Super Bowl, that of the Kansas City Chiefs. That quarterback running for his life because you had a problem on that offensive line. And then you look at the college football playoff, the same thing. The offensive line and defensive line, the trenches, they mean a lot. So how important is it for your offensive and defensive line there at Clearwater Academy program?
Starting with the offensive line, they've done really good things. They really protected our quarterback fairly well. They've done their job. Especially against these tougher teams, they've definitely held their own and fought really hard. And with their defense line, they've really made it easier as a secondary to in coverage, because they got pretty good pressure and stop the run game. So lessened us to make less tackles. It helped us to make less tackles, but they were both really good groups this year.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, and I think the thing is that you look at what they're able to do, the defensive line too, because defense wins championships, and this as a secondary. If you can stop that team on the first tier, that makes your job a lot easier if they can try to get penetration on the offensive side of the ball. Isn't that huge?
Yep, 100%.
Your quarterback means something to you guys, because without the quarterback, there's no marching down the field. And with the offensive line, I think if you look at the quarterback, the running back, and the offensive line, it's hard to march down the field if you don't have good players in those positions. Tell me some great things about your quarterback that you love.
Nah, our quarterback, he's a great guy. He's a really smart guy. He's a good leader, and he's a good motivator. Like, man's really driven. You know, he recently just, or last season, he broke a record, passing record in I'm pretty sure our county or state. So that's really good. He's always laser focused, and he's a great player.
Well, we're here with class of 2022, Tremel States Jones, GPA 3.6. He's at a Clearwater Academy High School in Clearwater, Florida. Plays an athlete, so you can put him on both sides of the ball, folks. We'll be right back.
Dr. Mark Gabriel. I'm a chiropractor at the Wellness Center PDX and the Wellness Center Beaverton. My main goal is to help out as many patients to get out of pain as fast as possible by giving the body its natural ability to heal itself. So we have two clinics. One is in the heart of Lower Hearst neighborhood and the other one is on the west side by St. Vincent Hospital. We have multiple providers that are able to assess the body from various different angles by assessing the nervous system, the muscular system, and the bones as well as the joints. And that way we can be able to provide a treatment plan that's individualized for every single patient. We have a holistic approach to be able to heal any joint pain without surgery. We accept all major health insurance plans, and if there is something that is not covered, we make sure it's affordable. At our offices, we treat the main cause of the problem and not just the symptoms, because symptoms might come back again and then the problem gets worse.
Welcome back to our program. This is Outside the Games. Of course, you joined us. We got a great student athlete with us. This is Tremel State Jones. He is a class of 2022, GPA 3.6, out of Clearwater Academy in Clearwater, Florida. Plays an athlete, so you can put him on both sides of the field, both sides of the ball of the field. Tremel, so getting into what goals you have for this upcoming year. There's been some sacrifices. There's been some changes. You may have lost some seniors. Take me through what has been lost and now to what you can gain for this upcoming year.
Well, for our team, we lost quite a bit of players. Like, we lost one of our star running backs, Brendan Barrow. He's on to Stanford. We lost Shakespeare Lewis, one of our big time safeties. He's going to Robert Morris. And we also lost one of our star receivers, Nicholas Shabwati. He's at USF. So coming in this year, we're getting a lot of great players, especially from Canada. Like, we're gaining one of our big time receivers, Dallas Sims. He recently just got, I think, his second offer. He has one from Iowa State, and we are also bringing in quite a bit of linemen because we lost a lot of our offensive line and defensive line. We just brought in another star linebacker from New Jersey. His name's Corey, to play alongside with Edwin. And we're also getting one of the top corners in Canada, Trey Tomlinson, out of Manitoba. So this year is shaping up to be a pretty good year, filling a lot of spots.
I'm hearing a lot of going to that the Canada. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of that getting to Canada and getting some players to come play over in Florida. What is it about Canada that you're able to, that the coaches are seeing some of that talent and bringing it over to Florida?
Well, Canada has a lot of talent. I guess Clearwater just really sees that. I think we have a lot of talent in Canada that is waiting for an opportunity. So that's a big spot.
So disappointment. Obviously you made it to the semifinals. So I mean, that's always, you can raise your head, you can hold your head up high from a standpoint of reaching that far. But there was some disappointment. You wanted a state championship. You wanted a ring. I'm sure some of those seniors that are no longer there are now gone and under the next level that wanted that. They wanted to close out their senior season right. What is it that this year that you as a team have to do to reach that goal?
We just have to start fast right out of the gate. Like the first game of the season, we just got to go out hard, compete, and ultimately just win. We just have to really just lock in this year and just win.
What would a state championship mean to you and Javon, especially? You guys are close, but to that team there, and being junior, you being a junior, what would that mean for you guys to get a state championship and win that?
I mean, for me, it would be huge because that'd be my second high school championship. I won one back in Canada, but it would just be huge. A good accomplishment to have.
So you won a state championship in Canada. With what team, and what was that experience like?
Back in ninth grade, 2017, I won a state championship with Lord Tweedsmuir Secondary School. That was my high school previously, and it was an amazing feeling, you know, especially with all the hard work me and my guys put in. It was just a great feeling.
So he wants to add another ring to the hand, right?
Yeah.
There you go. We discussed a little bit of the distance regards to, you know, coming from Vancouver, British Columbia, and then going to Florida. We talked it on different levels, but let's speak it from a level that you don't have your parents there. Mom and dad are not with you. I mean, for some student athletes, that's everything. There's like, I kind of want to be by my mom and dad. I mean, I want to be close to family. That's not the case for you. How hard is that?
It's definitely challenging because, again, not having my parents just to turn to every second is definitely different. So, I mean, it's taught me a lot. It's taught me how to start growing up, but it's been challenging at times.
So, folks, I mean, you look at college programs, you know, a lot of times college programs are looking at student athletes and they're saying, okay, you know, I want to grab this student athlete. I think he's a right fit for our program. But it may be a situation where the student athlete says, you know what, that's too far. I want my family to see me play. Now, I know you have some family in Florida, but your mom and dad, you know, they're in British Columbia. So obviously, it doesn't matter to what for you for a college program of what college program, where it would be. Distance is not a big thing to you, is it?
Not anymore. I'm starting to grow from it, you know, being away from home. But I'm only 17 years old, so it's still hard. But like I'm starting to learn from it, starting to be a little bit better.
Well, what is you know, because a lot of times you see your peers getting offers and they're getting attention, and you know, for you as a student athlete, you're like, okay, where's mine? I mean, it almost has to be that. Let's be honest. That's the elephant in the room sometimes. For you, what is recruiting meant for you, and what things are you hearing? What things are you seeing? What's that process like? And I mean, especially your parents aren't there. You're able to talk to them. You're able to FaceTime them, I'm sure. But you know, your coaches, you're there with the coaches. You're there with some other family members in Florida. So what is the recruiting process been for you?
You know, it's been pretty good. You know, there's just ups and downs with it, but it's been fairly well. Like I love seeing my other guys get their offers, especially with all that hard work we put in. But for me, it's just I know I've received 2 T1 offers, so I'm grateful for that, and I received a couple more offers like Montana Tech and like some offers in Canada. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm just staying patient and just keep grinding. I'm just grinding.
Yeah, and I think again, you're motivated to keep that GPA get it up as high. What is your goal GPA wise?
My goal is about a 3.8. I want to be at 3.8.
There you go.
That's my high school goal.
Open up more doors of opportunity, definitely, and I know colleges appreciate that as well. Is there something about the recruiting process that can be a little unnerving? I mean, from a standpoint of you waiting for that, right? I mean, you got favorite schools. Let's not get it twisted. Every student athlete has a favorite school that they love to either watch or they love to maybe be a part of that program one day. But what keeps you grounded? What things keep you grounded to not really worry about those other distractions or those things that may kind of affect your level of play?
I try to worry about like what's happening at this second. So if we have a game, I'm not really worrying about like who's in the stand. I'm just worrying about how me and my team are going to execute the game plan. And if we're training, I'm just worrying about how am I going to get myself better for the training? How am I going to improve so more people could pay attention to me? So that's mainly what I think about.
Do you have any favorite schools that you like? Colleges you appreciate alike?
I like them all. I can't really say I have a favorite. I really just like them all.
Well, I tell you, we had here Tremel States Jones. He is a class of 2022 athlete. GPA is 3.6 out of Clearwater, Florida. He's Clearwater Academy, a high school there in Florida. And so, hey, I tell you, it's been a pleasure to have you on our show, Tremel. It's been awesome to get to know you, to learn about you character-wise and academics and what makes you the student athlete that is able to play a sport that you love and put it all on the field. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'll tell you, we're not done. We have this thing called the Quick Blitz. You know this. This is a play where we get to know you on a personal level. People that don't know Tremel, we're going to get to know him real good. Favorite food, Tremel? Tell me.
Favorite food? Lasagna.
There you go. Favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert? This cake called Black Forest. This Black Forest cake.
Oh, I've heard of that. Very delicious. Very delicious. Apple or Android, and why?
It's balanced for me. I've had them both. I like them both. I don't really hate either one of them.
There you go. It's the first student athlete I think I've heard it said I like them. So that's great. Favorite musical artist, if you had to choose one, because you said you love music. Favorite musical artist. I know there's got to be one.
For right now, I'd probably say Roddy Ricch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite cleat to wear?
Favorite cleat? I'm in between Nike and Adidas. I'm more towards Adidas right now.
Well, of course. I mean, you were part of that 3-stripe process at FF. So that kind of stays with you. And I'm sure you got some shoes on those feet there, some good Adidas shoes. But yeah. Sure. What's a favorite casual shoe to wear? What brand do you like?
That's a great question.
What do you prefer on your feet when you're walking?
I like Ultra Boost. I like wearing Ultra Boost.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Last movie you just saw?
Oh, the last movie I just watched. I was with my coach's daughter. I literally just watched The Lorax.
Oh, okay. Good movie.
Dr. Seuss, The Lorax.
Oh yeah. Good movie?
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If you could choose any destination spot in the world today, I tell you, Tremel, other than British Columbia, where would that be?
Maybe Jamaica or Barbados.
Never been before, right?
I've been to Barbados, but I'd love to go back.
There you go. Yeah. If you had to, let's just say this, you're running late somewhere, and you had to decide, okay, do I call or do I text? Which one do you do and why?
I probably call because I don't really like text. I probably call because, it's more chance of the person answering.
That's a good one. Good choice. Good choice.
Yes, sir.
What was the last thing your mom told you?
Go talk to people. Stop being antisocial.
What was the last thing your coach told you?
The last thing my coaches from home said, go be great. If I talk about my coaches here, stop being weird.
Well, there's a lot of people talking about your personality. Oh wow. Okay, that's great. Hey, you know what? He just says, you know what? Thank you for telling me. I'll work on it. It'll get better, I'm sure. A serious question here. We always ask this because 2020 was crazy. We're in 2021, and there's been, obviously a lot politically, racial tension, I'm sure to say, social injustice, economic, problems, COVID-19.
Yeah.
So we're getting to 2021. We're in there now. What's one thing, if you could change in the world and have an impact on, Tremel, what would that one thing be?
Probably just racial injustice for especially black culture and just really all cultures right now. I could see in the world that the world's not all right, so I would just really change that.
And I'll tell you this, we have one last final question for you because we know that you're a student athlete and we know you'll get this right. Hair is very important to guys, as it is, I'm sure, with girls. So, what would you prefer? One or the other. Would you prefer a bad haircut? Somebody just jacked up your head. Barber just went with the clippers. Or would you appreciate being on Outside the Game show?
I'd be on the Outside the Game show.
I'm sure you would. Who would want a bad nick in the back of your head going, okay, I messed up my hair, now it's messed up. You can't fix it. There's some trouble. We appreciate you very much, Tremel States Jones. Again, class of 2022, GPA 3.6, Clearwater Academy out in Clearwater, Florida. Be on the watch for him, folks. Make sure you set out your schedule there, Tremel. Let us know what's going down. Give our best to Javon Blake and the coaches, all the student athletes as well in that program, and especially all the sports programs. We know with COVID-19 and hopefully getting rid of that, we're moving to some promising times. I know you want a state title. I know there's going to be some great things headed your way for you and your teammates. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you.
I'm Melissa DeCaros, and you're watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Menton.